Hey guys, welcome back to Main Character Syndrome. I'm your host, Alyssa, also known as the Redhead, with Becca. Hey Becca.
Hi.
Good to have you.
Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, good to have you back. So, we were talking about A Court of Thorns and Roses and our love for the series. We finished all first 3 books.
Mhm.
We have not gone into Frost and Starlight. Don't know if we will. It's kind of just a fun little lighthearted novella, but if you guys want us to go deep into that, let us know on social. Instagram is Main Character Syndrome Pod, as well as TikTok. But we will probably do a little deep dive of Silver Flames at some point. Becca still needs to read that one because that will
Yes.
be fun. But yeah, we'll keep you guys posted on that because we may go to Throne of Glass or Fourth Wing first, just because Crescent City is a little bit tied to Silver Flames. So this whole Maas verse is just kind of connected. So we're just gonna journey through that and see where we end up.
Love it.
Yeah. So with our discussion on A Court of Thorns and Roses, we're gonna kind of talk about our favorite parts of the series. We talked a little bit about A Court of Thorns and Roses last time. This time I want to talk about A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin and some of our top favorite things about that. So as first, as always, we talked about our ratings for the book. You rated Court of Wings and Ruin a 5.
Yeah.
A Court of Mist and Fury a 4, and then A Court of Thorns and Roses a 3.
Yeah.
4.5. Okay.
There we go.
I get you. So my question is, did anything surprise you in the series? Like throughout the series, what surprised you probably the most?
Biggest shock?
Mm-hmm.
The cauldron scene when the sisters turned fae. I didn't know if they were just going to die or what
Exactly
was going to happen.
I agree with that. I thought, someone had to die. I was like, there's no way they're going to go into the Hybern Castle and not come out whole.
Yeah.
They're all 1 or 2 is going to die.
Yeah.
I was fully prepared for it to be Cassian.
That would have been horrible.
It would have been horrible, but he was the one kind of just getting destroyed the most, him and Azrael. So I was like, oh, it's one of them. Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh no, this is not going to be good. And then, plot twist, it's the sisters being thrown into the cauldron. That's the big surprise.
Yeah. That was crazy. And them, I don't know why they would even choose them to see if it works for them to turn fae or not.
Yeah.
Because you know that they're going to be against you. So why would you even put yourself in that situation? But
that was the interesting thing was Hybern didn't throw the queens in first because it was almost like he didn't trust them. Why would he? But he wanted the humans to have powers over the queens first. And then the queen went in and turned super old and got the repercussions she deserved and the consequences. Yeah. So that was well deserved. Okay, the big thing of this series is, for me, this was the first kind of glimpse at swapping love interests. And I had never really read anything about that. I mean, there are always love triangles, but once you're endgame with someone, that's it. That's endgame. But Sarah J. Maas really kind of just throws us for a loop with the Rhysand and Tamlin.
Yes, that was unexpected.
What do you think of swapping love interests?
I think it was really well done. The way that she painted Tamlin was great, and then to slowly start picking away at their relationship, then bringing in Rhysand when they're still good, that was crazy. But I think she did it really well, and I love Rhysand. And
I know everyone loves Rhysand. Everyone loves a good shadow daddy. My thing was, it was kind of interesting to see. It was like puppy love. That was what Tamlin and Farah had, was the first stage of a relationship where everything is hunky-dory and romantic and cute, and the first red flag comes up and she's like, it's okay. The second red flag comes up and she's like, nope, got my blinders on. It was interesting to see all of these red flags pop up, and Farah was just so in love that she didn't see it.
Yeah.
Until we see her character grow through A Court of Mist and Fury, and then Rhys kind of shows her this is what you want. This is not what you want. I will pay attention to you. I will not just shove you to the wayside and make you have my babies and cook me food.
Yeah, you have a say.
You have a say in everything.
Wow.
You have a say in everything that you do. You have a say in everywhere you go. You have a say in whether or not you accept the mate bond.
Yeah. She's actually an equal and not just
exactly.
a person.
And you get to be High Lady of the Night Court. Whereas Tamlin's like, there's no such thing as a High Lady. It's only the High Lord.
Yeah.
And I think Tamlin was just, he loved Feyre. I fully believe that he loved Feyre, but I don't think that he loved her like as the person who she is after the mountain.
He loved someone relying on him.
Yeah, obedient. That's the word I'm trying to look for. But he wanted someone who was obedient and not going to fight back and sweet and timid like she was before she went under the mountain.
Yes, and that's not who she is anymore.
Exactly. And so I feel like this is kind of just symbolizing a relationship changing, and the reason people break up is because it doesn't work anymore. And Tamlin and Feyre weren't working anymore. She couldn't give him what he wanted, and he couldn't give her what she wanted, which was freedom.
Yeah.
Which shouldn't be that hard to do. But then we find a new character, Rhysand, and he was just like this beacon of light in a dark situation for her, and he just gave her everything that Tamlin could not. And so it was just kind of like a progression of the relationship and character growth and how relationships change the way that we change. So sometimes it doesn't work anymore, and that's okay.
Well said.
Thank you. That is my TED Talk for the day. So some themes to talk about. I want to talk about the learning to read and write as a way to access agency. And basically, like, Rhysand wanted her to learn to read and write, which is why he basically is like, here, I'll teach you. Which as Tamlin and Lucien are just kind of like, oh, you don't need to learn to read.
Yeah, you want to write a letter? I'll write it for you.
Yeah.
You know what you want to say.
Yeah, exactly. And even though, like, the reason she couldn't read was probably almost the reason she died.
Yeah.
And
almost
Lucien,
killed Lucien.
And almost killed Lucien. So I think she does need to learn to read and write. But Tamlin's like, meh, whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I just like, what did you think of the heroine not being able to read and write? What did you think of an illiterate female character?
I loved that perspective. That was really cool. And I think that Tamlin loved that perspective more because he loved that she had to rely on him even more. But Rhysand was like, no, let me empower you. You're a strong woman. Let me teach you how to do this so you can operate on your own.
Yeah, exactly. He's wanting to control Feyre and what she can and can't do. And Rhys is like, I'll teach you how to fight. I'll teach you how to use your magic. Yeah. I'll teach you how to read. Rhysand is the most handsome High Lord. Rhysand is the most whatever High Lord. And it's like, this is what I love, the banter between them two. But I also love that Rhys is actively trying to help Feyre, like, live a better life, even if it is with Tamlin.
Yeah.
Because that's how much he loves her. There's just leaps and bounds between how much Rhys loves Feyre and how much Tamlin loves Feyre. I think they both love her, but they love differently.
Yeah.
And they show that differently.
Tamlin loves her to a point, and it's more of like the idea of her and less of who she is as a person. Because he never truly got to know her the way that Rhys does.
Well, she's completely different person. Well, Faye. So everything just kind of different. Okay. Found family. What did you think of that in the book? So basically, the inner circle and Feyre. Just, they're not her family, but they are now.
Like the Night Court? Or whenever she was in the Spring Court and her family?
Basically, like, whenever found family happens, it's when you make friends and they're like family. So I really loved that the inner circle welcomed Feyre with open arms because she was special to Rhys.
Yeah. And even when she was there, she, like, her first time meeting them, she was thinking like that she found her space finally after all this time, which is amazing. But yeah, I loved that it wasn't just for the male perspective. It was like the entire team, and like we touched on it earlier, like they are all there for her and they'll come save her if they need to. It's not just like, oh, she's dating him, so I'm gonna be nice. It was like they all had their own connection. Yeah,
they all love Feyre. And I love the relationship between Cassian and Feyre because Cassian is such like a big brute, but also like a big teddy bear, I feel like. My fan cast for him is Chris Hemsworth.
Oh my gosh.
So I think that would be cool. Or like the one who, Jason Momoa from Aquaman, he'd also be a great Cassian. But I just kind of see him as like this big, tough guy, but also just this little teddy bear. And so Feyre just like has this great chat with him, great banter, and they just kind of tease each other, which I love that relationship.
Yeah, they're cute.
Okay, protecting someone you love versus keeping them trapped.
Or we're obviously adding Tamlin right now.
Yeah. We are definitely adding Tamlin in this chat.
Yeah, so the way that he doesn't let her be at all. He just like literally trapped her, not even literally in the spring court traps her. But then, like we were saying earlier, like Rhysand is not doing that. And I don't even know if Rhysand does protect her, but truly just teaches her how to protect herself. But what do you want to touch on for that?
Which is, again, leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
From just the way that each loves her.
Yeah.
Okay. Buff Fey dudes with wings, hot or nah?
So they don't always have wings though. Like I don't like the wings.
You don't like the wings?
Well, it just I don't know.
Hey, that's okay. It's personal preference.
Yeah.
I would rather like it be like Rhysand that they can like hide the wings.
Yeah.
And whatever, but like I feel like Cassian and Agil just always have theirs.
Yeah. I think that if it was normal, oh man, is that like fascist?
I don't know.
Fascist? I like sexist or racist? I don't know if there's a term for that or not.
No, if you don't like wings, you don't like wings.
I could learn to love them, I guess.
Yeah. What if Lucian had wings? No.
No, I guess I'd power through.
Yeah. You love Lucian. Okay.
Wait, what's your thoughts?
My thoughts? Do I think they're hot? Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. I mean, Rhysand I fell in love with from the second book. Technically the first book. I thought he was amazing at helping her under the mountain. But yeah, I don't know. Like IRL, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the book, it's fine.
In the book, it's fine. Yeah, my book boyfriend can have wings. He could be a vampire. I don't care. But in real life, I would like you to be a human being. That's kind of all I ask for. That's the bar. Please be a human.
Oh, human and not murder.
Human and not murderer. Yeah, just like a kind human being. That's all a woman wants. Okay, what do you think of the Horcrux-like search for the ring in book? I suppose you never really read Harry Potter.
I've seen the movies.
You did?
Yeah. I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting. And I did like the movies of Harry Potter. So I guess I've never thought of comparing them before. But I think if I read the books, maybe I'd see more comparison because I know they leave a lot out.
Yeah, they do. But it's interesting to see that the search for all these items in A Court of Mist and Fury, like they're searching for the book, they're searching for the ring, they're searching for the cauldron, and all of these different things. And it's just kind of like it gave ode to the Harry Potter and them looking for like the Horcruxes to defeat Voldemort. And I was like, this is interesting. So I'm wondering if Sarah J. Maas didn't pull like inspiration from Harry Potter for these things. Because I'm seeing a lot of different elements like the Beauty and the Beast and the Harry Potter and the Hunger Games, kind of different elements into this. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Did you expect or want Tamlin to get some redemption in the following books?
Yes.
You do. You want a Tamlin redemption arc.
I just want to know his perspective. I want to know what's going on in that little noggin or what isn't.
I understand. I do. I want a Tamlin point of view just to see what was going through his head at the time. Like, what were his thoughts? Did he really think that this was a good idea? Did he really think that allying himself with Hybern was the best situation?
That was wild of him.
What, man? Like, what is going through your head?
Clearly nothing.
Nothing. I mean, sometimes
pure rage.
Apparently,
he was possession.
In his defense, Feyre did destroy his court, but in her defense, it was warranted. So, I mean, you could go both ways. Tamlin, you could say he's a toxic character, and then you could also say that he was duped by Feyre. Because there are a lot of Tamlin apologists out there. I am not one of them. I fully despise Tamlin, but I would not read his book if it came out.
I wouldn't not read it.
Yeah. I mean, I would take a glimpse at it. Maybe read it. I'm just interested in seeing like what was going through his head. What were you thinking?
I feel like he kind of did get a little bit of a redemption when he sacrificed some of his power to save Rhysand.
Yeah. The be happy, Feyre. You got some brownie points, Tamlin. But you got a lot of work to do. Okay. We're going to play another ACOTAR game. which is kind of one of my favorite ways to end the series, is just kind of see what you thought and what I thought, and also what you at home thought. So play along with us and let's start. Okay. Out of the 3 ACOTAR books, which one is your favorite?
Wings and Ruin.
Really? Why?
I think it had the most action.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first one was a little bit dry because it was setting the scene.
Mm-hmm.
The second one I loved, but then the third one you kind of get to see more character development in Farah, her sisters, and then more time like figuring out who she is. And I just love that.
I did. I really liked Wings and Ruin, but I gotta say, Mist and Fury was my favorite.
Really? Why is that?
Because we got all these sweet moments and the development of Rhys and Farah's relationship. Because they went from enemies to lovers, and you got to see that progress.
Yeah.
And instead of like other books that have this trope where it's enemies to lovers and it's just kind of like one certain moment kind of changes their perspective on this person. No, Farah actually despises Rhys for quite a while until a switch is flipped, and it's kind of like, okay, Valaris, she's shown Valaris, and she's like, oh, maybe he's not as evil as I thought he was, but she still doesn't like him.
Yeah.
She doesn't like him as a person, but it's just like the relationship that grows with him helping her and him training her and them going on this quest for all of these different items. And I thought he lost brownie points when he threw her to the Weaver, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Not the best judgment on his part, but he was like, you know what? She's a baddie. She can handle it. So
and that's the difference. He knew she could handle it before she did.
Yeah. So that's interesting. But I also love Starfall. That was one of my favorite scenes when they both just kind of left. They let their guards down and they just kind of watched all of these star organisms. I don't even know what they are, but like shooting stars shoot through the air, and then they watch it. And it was very romantic.
So you love the most like the romance of the books.
I'm a romance snob. Like I love romance, and I'm a sucker for a good enemies to lovers relationship. So that was one of my favorites, and it's probably why I'm obsessed with Fourth Wing as well. You will find that out very soon. Okay. We talked about who's your favorite character, which is Lucien.
Yes.
My favorite character, I think, is either Moore or Rhysand.
Okay, why is that?
Rhysand has a character growth, and we get a little bit more into like his head and like what he's been through, and like the way he loves Farah, I just absolutely adore. Moore is kind of like an enigma for me because she's a baddie, but she's also been through this terrible thing. Does she love Azriel? Yes. Does she love him like that? No. Does everyone ship her with Azriel? Yes. But like she is a loyal person, kind of like Lucien. So she's like Rhysand's Lucien, basically. What Lucien is to Tamlin, she is to Rhys. And I love Moore dearly. She's just such a kind-hearted. She wants to be friends with Farah, but Farah's kind of ignoring her through the whole night court when she first gets there. But you could tell like she just wants to be friends. She's like a girl's girl, and that's kind of how I feel. I'm a girl's girl, so yeah, that's just kind of why.
So you relate to Moore the most.
I relate to Moore the most, but
you're in love with Rhysand.
I'm in love with Rhysand. I am not sorry. Okay. Who is your least favorite character and why?
Oh boy. I want to say Hybern, but it's not. It's Amarantha.
Amarantha?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's pretty twisted, pretty evil, and I really hate the way that she just feels like she has to like control and command men. It just shows like a icky side of her. I just don't like that.
She's icky. She is icky.
And she lied.
She did.
She's like, yeah, just do these 3 things or say this quote. And then she's like, JK, I'm going to kill you.
The fact that the riddle and the answer was love, I was like, it's probably something as stupid as love. And then we find out that it was. And I was like,
come on.
I knew it. I was like, it's so predictable. But I also loved it at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Amarantha was a trickster. She got the ending that she deserved, in my opinion.
Yeah. Who's your least favorite?
My least favorite, I would like to say Tamlin, but Tamlin had some redeeming qualities, even though he was a toxic boyfriend. He still liked love. He loved his court.
Yeah.
And he loved his kingdom. But you know, his blinders were on and different things happened and he didn't make the best choices. But you're only human. So I'll give him that.
He's only Fae. High Lord. Come on, he should know better.
He's a High Lord. I have to say Ianthe.
Really?
She was icky. She's an icky character.
Pretty gross.
Yeah. She's not my favorite.
That's a good choice.
She's like the Amarantha. They're both predators. But Ianthe was definitely like, she was a snake in the grass.
She really was, because she was on the good side, but she sabotaged so many people.
Yeah, she sabotaged so many people. She turned Elaine and Nesta Fae. She went at Lucian multiple times.
And Rhysand.
And she tried to get with Rhysand.
Yeah.
And it was like, girl, ick, ick, ick.
Yeah.
That's a big ick. Not a good character. So yeah, she is my least one. So she got the ending she deserved. She deserved to be eaten by the Weaver. So when Feyre was like, I can hear her screams, I was like, go girl. Okay. Top 3 favorite pairings.
Well, obviously, Feyre and Rhysand. I mean, you and Rhysand.
Oh yeah. I mean, me and Rhysand. I'll be.
I haven't really seen Elaine and Lucian interact very much, but
you want that to happen?
Yes, they're so cute.
Oh.
I don't think I really ship anyone else.
Yeah.
I guess
about Azriel?
Yeah, and Nesta.
Azriel and Nesta. Interesting.
Wait, who's Lucian's mate? Is that Nesta or Elaine?
Elaine.
Okay, yeah, then yeah.
Yeah, you want Azriel and Nesta to get together?
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
What about Cassian?
Oh my gosh, I meant Cassian.
I was wondering. I was like, okay. Yeah, so you want Cassian and Nesta.
Yeah, that would.
Okay. Because I was like, Azriel and Nesta, that'd be cute though.
I guess either one. They're the same to me.
Yeah. They are pretty similar. But Azriel is such a cinnamon roll. I love him. He's also very deadly though, like the Shadow Singer.
Who's your pairings?
My pairings is Rhys and Feyre. At the time, I did not like Cassian and Nesta.
Really?
Yeah. But now they've grown on me through ACOMAF and ACOWAR and Silver Flames. But I was like, I don't know, like 2 butt heads a lot.
Yeah.
And that doesn't always work in a relationship. Like that creates a very toxic environment. I ship them now. So it's Feyre, Rhysand, Cassian, Nesta. I really wanted Azriel and Mor until A Court of Wings and Ruin when we found out that Mor didn't like him that way. So now I do ship Azriel and Elaine. I do. I really do. I hope that they get together. Sorry, Lucian. We can't be friends anymore.
Jeez Louise.
I know. I'm sorry. Okay. What Prythian court do you belong to? If you lived in Prythian, which court would you live in?
Well, obviously, I want to say the Night Court, but I don't think I'd be in the Night Court.
Yeah.
I think maybe Summer.
Ooh, you're a Summer girly.
Thanks.
I can see that.
I think I'd probably be Summer.
Would you get with Tarquin?
I mean, I guess I'd have to at that point, right?
You could be the high lady of the Summer court.
Gotta do what you gotta do. I'll take Del.
There you go. I would probably do the Night Court. I'd have to say I'm kind of a night owl, but I also just really love everything that Valaris has, and I want that.
Yeah.
I want the mountains. I want the night sky all the time.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
So you're saying you're not Autumn?
I'm not Autumn.
I mean, I guess they're evil. But...
Autumn's pretty evil, unless I could like thwart the whole kingdom.
Yeah.
And create it anew, but that would be a lot of work.
Yeah.
But I could do it. I could probably do it.
I could save that entire kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably do it, depending. Like, I would get fire powers. So, yeah, I could do the Autumn Court.
Yeah, I like where your head's at.
Okay. One unpopular opinion about ACOTAR. Wow. It's a hard one. I suppose Lucian is an unpopular opinion.
I know, but why is that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that would probably be my most obvious one, is that I think Lucian is better than everyone else.
Yeah.
Except for Rhysand.
Yeah.
He's obviously top tier, but yeah. What's yours?
My unpopular opinion about ACOTAR was I actually liked the first book. A lot of people didn't really like the first book, but again, it's all world building, setting, and character development.
Mhm.
So I fully enjoyed the spin on The Beauty and the Beast because at first I was just kind of like, meh, I've seen this before. But like through the first like 100 pages, when everything's set and done, you know where you're at, you know
Mhm.
who she's interacting with. It was kind of interesting to see that it wasn't just like a Beauty and the Beast kind of, there's a curse going around. There's like
Mhm.
this blight taking over the land and some other things are happening underneath. And then you get Rhysand and Calamai, and
Yeah.
then Rhysand comes back and is kind of like scary. And it's like, oh, is this a new villain that we're kind of getting introduced to? But all in all, I really, unpopular opinion, I loved the first book and I loved all of them. So
That is an unpopular opinion.
yeah. Okay. Place the inner circle into the Hogwarts houses.
This is a good one. Okay.
So we've got Gryffindor. Who do you think would be in Gryffindor?
Gryffindor. Oh, wow. See, I struggle because I think that the Night Court, it's similar to Gryffindor, but it's also similar to Slytherin, where everyone thinks that they're bad, but they can be good. I think obviously Farrah is going to be a Gryffindor.
Yeah, I think Farrah's a Gryffindor. What about Rhysand?
See, that's where I don't know.
I think he's Slytherin.
I want to say Slytherin, but I want to say that he could be good and he could be a Gryffindor. Well, not that Slytherin's bad, but he does have Slytherin qualities.
He's sneaky.
He is sneaky.
He's sneaky like a snake. Okay. More.
I feel like I'm getting set up here. Why? Ah, jeez.
Maybe I was kind of thinking that more could be Gryffindor or Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
No, not Hufflepuff. She's
I
too.
could see Gryffindor.
She's a Gryffindor because Hufflepuff is too like hands off. She's very hands on.
Where would you put Asriel?
Asriel, I think I would put him kind of between like Gryffindor and Slytherin because he's not evil, but he can be deadly.
Yeah.
So like a snake, he can strike at any moment.
That's how I feel about all of the Night Court.
I know.
I want them to be both.
Yeah. Okay. So I think, oh gosh.
We're looking at a photo of all of them.
Yeah, we're looking at a photo of all of them because we're like, okay, who's all left? Amaranth, I think, is Slytherin.
Okay, yeah, she's definitely Slytherin.
Asriel could be Ravenclaw because he's smart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cassian, Gryffindor. He's a brute.
Ooh, Tamlin.
Tamlin.
He's giving Ravenclaw to me.
That or Hufflepuff. He doesn't really.
But he has such anger. Hufflepuff,
yeah, that's true.
I think like Lucian would be Huffle.
Lucian would be a Hufflepuff for sure.
Tamlin and Ianthe, I don't know where to place.
Tamlin and Ianthe aren't in the inner circle. They don't matter.
Yeah, they're trash.
They're trash.
But then that makes me want to think, where would Amarantha be?
6 feet under.
Well, oh, I guess makes me want to think that she'd be Slytherin because that's what Voldemort was.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I don't know. I think they all have like Slytherin and Gryffindor qualities.
Yeah. They're a mixture.
One of those houses. Okay. Favorite quote.
The quickest way to a man's heart is through the 4th and 5th ribs.
Oh, that's a good one.
A great one. What is your favorite quote?
Gosh. Okay. So probably hello, favorite darling. Because that starts everything with Rhys and Farrah.
Yeah.
It's a swoon-worthy moment. It's got book talking to Tizzy. It's great. But probably one of the ones that I think of the most is to the readers who listen. Oh, to the readers. That's what I say on the podcast, and it's why I say it on the podcast. It's to the stars who listen and the dreams that are answered.
Yeah.
And that's when they're making their wish upon a star. And I'm like, that is such a wholesome moment. And Starfall is such a wholesome scene that it really just kind of shows Farrah that like Rhysand is not all he's cracked up to be. There are so many layers to this male, and it's just kind of interesting that she's finally starting to see him for the man that he can be.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Again, hopeless romantic. What can you do? But yes, and so at the end of every podcast now, because it started with a quote of Thorns and Roses, is to the readers who listen, we'll see you later. So that's what I say. And that's where that all came from.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So a little fun fact. All right. What are you hoping will happen in the future? We've kind of touched on this a little bit, but what is like your hope
to unfold next? Because I know that there's already books still that I haven't read.
There's Nesta's story, and then there's like a little cute novella. So what do you hope happens in these books? Because you haven't read it yet. What do you hope for Nesta?
Well, I don't know where it starts for Nesta's story, but I hope it starts at the very beginning. Because I want to know where her head was at when everything went down, and if Tamlin's like charm worked on her. And I want to know all of the setup and then her thoughts, because once she turns Fae, like Farrah's gone. So she's like still at the spring court. And I want to know where her head was at for all of that and having to be there for Elaine and just that whole situation. And then I want to see her love story unfold. And then I want to see where Farrah and Rhysand take the end of the war. I think that's pretty much it. I'm good with anything else that happens.
So you want a Nesta origin story?
Yep.
Interesting. I would love to see that. Mine would be I want an Elaine book. I want an Elaine book, but I'm also wondering like what's gonna happen with Eris.
Oh,
I want to see what happens with his character, because we got a little glimpse at who he is at the end of Wings and Ruin.
Yeah.
To see that he might not be the bad guy that everyone thinks he is.
Yes.
And what Moore's kind of led everyone to believe. Maybe he is bad, but maybe not as bad as she initially says he is.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what his story is, how Sarah J. Maas builds his character, and if he ends up with any romance interests.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Again, hopeless romantic. I'm just hoping everyone just gets with somebody.
Yeah, you want the romance.
And yeah, the romance. Sarah J. Maas is so good with romance that's just like pulled me in, and I am here for it. So what if you had to, oh, this is a good one. If you had to share a room with the bone carver, the weaver, or Bryaxis, which would you choose?
Ooh, the worst ones. I want to say the weaver, because I feel like they had a come up story.
Yeah.
And man, I don't want that though either. I don't know. They're all scary.
They're all terrifying, to be honest. I would want a room with Bryaxis because I gotta know what she did to Cassian.
Oh, yeah. But what if she does it to you too?
I don't know. I mean, do it for the plot.
That's so brave of you.
Okay. Favorite scene?
Wow. You're going to have to do your favorite scene first.
My favorite scene. Probably Starfall. Or, no, 54. Chapter 54 in A Court of Mist and Fury. Just because I love it. I love everything that's revealed. I love the surreal tea and all that jazz.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Wow, I know I rated the book a 3, but I really do like the Under the Mountain. I think it's so interesting. I love the suspense and how we don't know what's going to happen, how Lucian is there for her, but then she makes the deal with Rhysand and we're like, oh no, did she just make a mistake? But that was the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
That was really interesting. And then I loved the wedding scene too.
Yeah. Under the Mountain was an interesting scene with like all the trials that had to happen. And it almost felt like a separate book because everything happened in A Court of Thorns and Roses, gearing up to basically part 2 where she's under the mountain and she's fighting for her life, basically. Yeah. So that's an interesting one. I also loved the wedding scene where I also love when she throws the shoe at Rhysand because she's just like, you are the actual worst. Okay, least favorite scene.
Saw your note.
You're good.
My least favorite scene would have to be when Farrah got trapped at the spring court, and you see like where her mindset is at and where she's just like panicking, and it's just really hard to see her go through that traumatizing experience, knowing what just happened to her under the mountain, and then being trapped again, and just feeling so powerless against a male is just like really hard to watch another girl go through.
Yeah. My least favorite scene was probably Cal and Mai when he chose chose. Everyone's going to get mad at me for saying he chose someone. The magic made him choose someone else. But then he came in and it was like all predatory and like, I told you to stay in your room. And then they make out. And then it was just like, ew. Not a fan. Next. Thank you. Next. Do you think based off of this series, you would pick up another Sarah J. Maas book?
Oh, yeah. I feel like I got to read the whole universe. Gotta know what's going on. Especially if it connects. My mind's going to be boggled.
Oh, for sure. So another question I have is this book series is so hyped up on Book Talk, on social media, with the reading community as a whole. Is it worth the hype?
That's a really great question. I want to say yes. I think the last few books are definitely worth it. I think that if you want to read it, you have to power through the first one to get there.
Yeah, I get it. I definitely get that. It's just like, trust the process. This series and the author is the biggest example of trust the process I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, oh, you think this is going to happen, but actually, plot twist, this is actually going to happen. So. Yeah. Sarah J. Maas also has a theme going with her series and her books and everything that she writes, as the first love interest is not the same. So that is always interesting, because now whenever I read a book by her or a new series, I'm like, okay, do I fall in love with this character at the same time as she does? Or
don't get attached.
Am I going to pivot and like don't get attached, because you never know what's going to happen.
Not you guarding your own heart while reading.
Guarding my own heart reading these stupid books. Not stupid. I love them so much. But like feeling the same feelings as a character does. Like, do you ever get your heart, like, does your heart like get pained almost whenever you read something and like there's a heartbreaking moment? It's like, oh, I actually felt that.
I cry for them.
Yes. It's like, what are you doing to us, Sarah J. Maas? Like, please stop wrecking our emotions. But also we're here for it and we'll do it for the plot.
Living for it.
So. All right, that was our wrap up of A Court of Thorns and Roses. Let us know if you want us to do A Court of Silver Flames or also the novella A Court of Frost and Starlight. Until next time, to the readers who listen, we'll see you later.